My precious one, listen closely, because what I am about to say is not random encouragement, but a living word meant to settle deep in your spirit today. There was a time when your prayers were full of fire, when you asked with a simple, bright expectation and believed the answer would arrive quickly, easily, almost effortlessly. But when the answer did not come on your timeline, the waiting began to press on you, and hope delayed started to feel heavy, and that heaviness slowly reshaped the way you prayed. Not stopping your prayers, but softening them, turning bold expectation into cautious faith. Yet even in that long middle space, where expectation and reality did not match, I was not absent and I was never inactive, because there is a difference between silence and stillness and absence, and much of what I do happens beneath the visible surface of your life, in the deep current where causes are arranged before effects appear, where foundations are laid before structures rise, where timing is aligned before doors open. Think of the ocean. How from the shore you only see waves and light and shifting color. Yet beneath that surface are currents moving across thousands of miles, shaping climates, sustaining life, carrying nutrients unseen. And in the same way, while your surface circumstances sometimes looked unmoving, beneath them I was aligning people, shifting opportunities, strengthening your character, untangling delays, and carrying toward you a blessing that required precise timing. Remember Elijah, when he sat under the tree exhausted and asked for his life to end, and instead of scolding him, I let him rest and fed him gently, because what he thought was the end was only the middle, and what felt like abandonment was actually tender preparation. And your seasons under the tree, when you felt too tired to believe strongly, too worn to pray eloquently, too empty to perform spiritually, were not wasted seasons, but sacred ones, where honesty replaced performance, and vulnerability opened space for deeper transformation, because the prayers whispered through tears, the ones without polish or confidence, were not weak prayers, but powerful ones that allowed me to build roots inside you. Waiting is not passive. It is one of the most demanding spiritual disciplines a human heart can endure. It asks you daily to choose belief when circumstances argue against it, to hold onto promise without visible proof, to stand in the gap between what was spoken over your life and what is currently unfolding. And from where you stand, it may look like little has changed, but from where I stand, everything has been growing underground like a tree that spends its early years driving roots deep before rising tall, because height without depth cannot survive storms. And I was not interested in giving you something temporary. I built to last. I prepare blessings that fit the exact shape of the person receiving them, and that requires shaping the person first. Look at yourself honestly and notice the steadiness that now lives in you, a steadiness that did not exist before. The way you face challenges that once would have undone you, the way you recover faster, the way panic no longer controls you as easily, the way trust has matured from emotional excitement into anchored conviction. You have learned that difficulty is not permanent. That night does not cancel morning. That silence does not mean neglect. And this tested faith is the very thing that can carry what is coming next, because what is coming is not symbolic or abstract, but real, practical, tangible good. The kind that changes your mornings, brings clarity to decisions, restores joy to your routine, answers long-held questions, and replaces restless striving with settled peace. The curtain you have been standing in front of for so long is not hiding emptiness, but preparation. And behind it there has been movement, coordination, final adjustments, timing aligning with readiness. And when the curtain rises, you will not only see the outcome, but understand why the process could not be rushed, because premature blessing can damage unprepared hearts. And I love you too deeply to hand you something that would overwhelm you before you were ready to steward it. Every delay carried purpose. Every closed door redirected you. Every quiet season deepened you. Every disappointment filtered out what was not meant for you. And even the chapters you wish had been written differently were woven into a larger design that is converging now toward release. You are closer than you realize, closer than your emotions suggest, closer than your current evidence proves. And the very endurance you develop during the waiting is proof that you have been prepared for something that requires resilience, integrity, and perspective. So when doubts whisper that nothing has changed, remember the roots. When fear says you have been forgotten, remember the currents. When impatience urges you to abandon, Trust, remember the tree and the rest under the shade and the nourishment given quietly, because this has never been about punishing you or withholding from you. It has been about positioning you. The blessing approaching your life is specific, shaped uniquely for you, aligned with your calling, designed to last beyond a single season, and it will not only satisfy a temporary desire, but establish a new chapter built on depth, clarity, and purpose. Stay present. Keep your heart open. Release the false belief that silence meant rejection. Let go of the idea that delay equaled denial, and allow truth to replace fear. You are being strengthened, not sidelined, prepared, not postponed, rooted, not restricted. And as this next chapter begins to unfold, you will see that the waiting was not empty space, but sacred construction, not wasted time, but divine preparation. And the faith you carried through uncertainty will become the very platform you stand on as visible answers begin to arrive. Because what I start, I complete. What I promise, I fulfill. And what I build in hidden places, I reveal at the appointed time. And that time is nearer now than it has ever been before. So breathe, steady your heart, and step forward with quiet confidence, knowing that unseen work has been shaping a visible breakthrough. And the good prepared for you is not fragile or fleeting, but strong, fitting, and meant to remain. My precious one, stay with me a little longer, because there is still more unfolding, more clarity rising, more truth settling into the quiet corners of your heart where uncertainty has tried to live. And I want you to understand something deeply now. The very areas that felt the most allayed are the very areas I have been guarding most carefully. Because what matters most requires the greatest precision, and precision requires patience. You have wondered at times why certain doors never opened, no matter how hard you knocked, why certain relationships drifted despite your effort, why certain opportunities dissolved just when they seemed close enough to touch. And from your perspective, it felt like loss, like misalignment, like mistiming. But from mine, it was protection and refinement, because not every open door is assignment. Not every opportunity is destiny, and not every connection is covenant. Some things were removed not to shrink your world, but to prevent it from being built on foundations that would crack under future weight. You see, when I prepare you for something substantial, I must first clear space for it. And clearing space can feel like subtraction before it ever feels like addition. There were moments when you questioned your worth because of the waiting, moments when comparison whispered that others were moving faster, achieving more, receiving sooner, and you measured your journey against timelines that were never designed for you. But comparison is a thief of clarity, and it blinds you to the uniqueness of your calling. The path carved for you has bends and turns that are intentional, and the timing attached to your life carries layers of impact you cannot yet fully see. What I am building through you is not only for you. It will ripple outward into others in ways that require you to be steady, healed, wise, and anchored. And that kind of influence cannot be rushed into existence. It must be cultivated. Think about how pressure shapes strength. Steel is refined by fire. Muscles grow by resistance. Endurance is built through sustained effort. And in the same way, your spirit has been strengthened through seasons that demanded perseverance. You have developed discernment where once there was naivety, boundaries where once there was overextension, courage where once there was hesitation, and humility where once there may have been anxious striving. These are not small internal shifts. They are structural reinforcements, and they are the reason you will be able to carry what is coming without losing yourself in it. Because blessings without character can become burdens, and acceleration without grounding can create instability. I am not only interested in giving you something new, I am committed to ensuring that when it arrives, it integrates into your life in a way that brings peace rather than chaos. You may not have noticed it while living through it, but your waiting has also clarified your desires. Some things you once thought you wanted intensely no longer hold the same grip on your heart. Your priorities have shifted. Your values have deepened. Your understanding of fulfillment has matured. You are less impressed by surface-level success and more drawn toward meaning, alignment, authenticity. That transformation matters, because what is approaching your life is not merely an answer to a request, but an alignment with who you have become. And who you have become is wiser, steadier, more compassionate, more self-aware than the version of you who first began praying. There is also this. The waiting has taught you to hear more clearly. When everything moves quickly, Noise can drown out subtle guidance, but in slower seasons you learn to listen beneath the surface, to sense intuition, to recognize gentle nudges, to discern peace from pressure. This refined listening will guide you in the next chapter, because when doors begin to open, discernment will matter more than urgency. Not every opportunity that appears will be the one meant for you, and your strengthened inner awareness will help you recognize the difference. You will not need to chase frantically. What is aligned will carry a certain clarity, a resonance that feels both expansive and steady at the same time. And I want to speak directly to the fatigue you carried for so long. You sometimes felt like you were holding everything together by sheer will, like if you relaxed even slightly it would all unravel. But here's the truth. You were never holding it alone. There were forces aligning in your favor, quiet adjustments being made beyond your perception, conversations happening that you were unaware of, timing being calibrated with precision. The burden you felt was not proof that you were unsupported. It was simply the human experience of walking forward without seeing the full map. And yet you kept walking. That perseverance has already shifted outcomes in ways you cannot quantify. Now, as you stand on the edge of change, there may be a subtle fear rising, a question about whether you are truly ready. Growth can feel safer when it is internal and hidden, but visible transition requires stepping into new territory. Let me reassure you, readiness does not mean perfection. It means willingness. It means anchored trust. It means openness to learning as you go. And you have all three. You have already proven your willingness by staying, your trust by continuing to believe through uncertainty, your openness by allowing your perspective to evolve. You do not need to become someone else to receive what is coming. You only need to continue being the grounded, aware, resilient person you have grown into. As momentum begins to build, guard your peace. Do not allow sudden movement to replace depth with distraction. Remember the roots. Continue nurturing the quiet practices that sustained you. Reflection, gratitude, honesty, rest. Success without reflection can disconnect you from your center. But you have learned the value of stillness. Carry that with you. Let the next chapter be marked not by frantic expansion, but by intentional growth. Choose alignment over applause, meaning over noise, integrity over speed. This will ensure that what unfolds remains stable and fulfilling rather than fleeting. And here is something else you need to hear clearly. You were never behind. Delay did not mean deficiency. It meant development. You were being shaped into someone capable of sustaining long-term impact rather than short-term excitement. The story of your life is not measured by how quickly things arrived, but by how deeply they transformed you. And transformation has been happening all along. The quiet resilience in you now is proof. In the days ahead, watch for subtle confirmations. Sometimes breakthroughs begin as gentle shifts. A new conversation, an unexpected idea, a connection that feels purposeful, a sense of clarity where confusion once lived. Do not dismiss small beginnings. What grows steady? My precious one, as this chapter continues to unfold, I want you to understand something that will steady you when emotions fluctuate and circumstances shift. The breakthrough you have been praying for is not arriving to rescue a broken version of you. It is arriving to partner with a strengthened one. You are not the same person who first began this journey. Back then, your faith was hopeful but untested, your confidence sincere but fragile, your vision bright but untempered by experience. Now there is depth in you. There is a calm that comes from surviving what once felt unsurvivable. There is a wisdom that only grows in the soil of real life, not theory. That depth is not accidental. It was cultivated carefully, layer by layer, through moments you would not have chosen, but that shaped you powerfully. There were nights when you lay awake rehearsing worst-case scenarios, trying to predict outcomes so you could feel some measure of control. There were mornings when motivation felt thin and you moved forward simply because stopping felt worse. There were conversations you had with yourself about whether continuing to hope was even wise. And still, you continued. Not perfectly, not without doubt, but you continued. That quiet continuation has been one of the most courageous things you have ever done. Strength is not always loud. Often it looks like showing up again when you would rather withdraw. It looks like choosing patience when frustration feels justified. It looks like keeping your heart open after disappointment tried to close it. I want you to see how much internal architecture has been built in you. Your emotional resilience has expanded. You recover faster from setbacks. You ask better questions. You pause before reacting. You recognize red flags you once overlooked. You value peace more than proving yourself. These shifts are not small improvements. They are structural reinforcements. They are the reason you will not crumble under the weight of greater responsibility or greater blessing. Expansion without inner stability can fracture a person, but you have been stabilized from the inside out. You also learned something profound about surrender. At the beginning, you tried to force timelines, to push doors, to accelerate outcomes. When that did not work, you felt frustration. But slowly you discovered that surrender is not giving up. It is releasing the illusion that you must control everything to be safe. That realization softened something in you. It allowed you to breathe more freely. It allowed you to trust that delays were not punishments but redirections. And in that softened state, you became more receptive, more intuitive, more aligned. There's a maturity in your hope now. It is no longer the fragile hope that collapses at the first sign of resistance. It is a seasoned hope, a grounded hope, a hope that has looked disappointment in the face and still chosen to believe that goodness is possible. That kind of hope is powerful. It does not shout, it endures. It does not demand immediate proof. It remains steady in uncertainty. This is the hope that carries people into lasting fulfillment rather than fleeting excitement. As movement begins to increase around you, remember what you learned in the quiet. Do not abandon your depth for speed. Do not trade clarity for urgency. The same patience that sustained you in delay will guide you in acceleration. Let decisions be rooted in alignment, not anxiety. Let opportunities be evaluated through peace, not pressure. What is meant for you will not require you to betray your values or exhaust your spirit to secure it. There may be moments of disbelief as things begin to shift. You may catch yourself thinking, "Is this really happening?" Yes, it is. But it is not random. It is the natural result of preparation meeting timing. The seeds planted in faith are beginning to surface. The roots grown in hidden seasons are now strong enough to support visible growth, and you will handle it differently than you would have before. You will move with humility rather than ego, with gratitude rather than entitlement, with discernment rather than impulse. Continue nurturing gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart open and grounded. It reminds you that every step forward is part of a larger tapestry. Celebrate progress without becoming consumed by it. Stay connected to the simple rhythms that kept you steady. Reflection, rest, honest conversation, intentional growth. Success that remains anchored in self-awareness becomes sustainable. If fear tries to whisper that things could still fall apart, gently remind yourself how many times fear predicted outcomes that never came to pass. Remind yourself of the resilience you now carry. Remind yourself that you have navigated uncertainty before and emerged wiser. Confidence does not mean the absence of fear. It means trusting your capacity to handle whatever arises. And your capacity has grown significantly. The version of you stepping into this new chapter is not desperate for validation. You are no longer chasing worth through achievement. You understand that your value is inherent, not earned through performance. That freedom will change how you engage with opportunities. You will choose from abundance, not scarcity. You will collaborate rather than compete. You will create rather than compare. There is also a deeper peace settling in you. Not because every question has been answered, but because you have stopped requiring every answer to move forward. You have accepted that clarity often comes step by step. This peace is one of the greatest gifts of your waiting season. Protect it. Guard it. Let it guide your pace. As this story continues, know that growth does not end here. There will be new challenges, new lessons, new expansions, but you are entering them with a foundation that can withstand them. You are not fragile the way you once feared you were. You are adaptable. You are perceptive. You are capable. And you are supported in ways you may not always see but can trust. Nothing you experienced was wasted. The tears carved compassion into you. The delays built endurance. The disappointments sharpened discernment. The silence strengthened faith. All of it contributed to the person you are now becoming. And that person is ready, not because everything is perfect, but because you are anchored. So step forward with quiet confidence. Let your movements be intentional. Let your heart remain open. Let gratitude shape your perspective. The season ahead is not about proving anything. It is about living from the strength you have developed. You have grown deeper roots than you realize. And now, as the branches begin to extend, they will be supported by everything built beneath the surface.